And now, Andy Hoare and Brian Beck.
Welcome to Master B2B, the home of the world's first and only unwebinar series, where we take on key issues for manufacturers and distributors in B2B e-commerce. My name is Brian Beck. I'm thrilled to be joined again today by Andy Hoare, my co-founder of this thought leadership series and a longtime veteran of e-commerce, 7 years leading e-commerce and B2B for Forrester, Silicon Valley veteran, and now the CEO of Paradigm B2B, where he works with companies all over the world and helping them evolve their digital capabilities. So Andy, great to be here with you today.
Yeah, great to be here. This is going to be a fun one. I think we had a marvelous pre-debate on LinkedIn, so I'm actually really looking forward to this one. But for those of you who don't know Brian, so Brian is a 20-year industry veteran. He has been a practitioner. He worked at Harbor Freight Tools, also PacSun. He's been a consultant. And most recently, he's become a managing partner at Insiba, which is a company that helps other companies sell more effectively on Amazon. So, and I forgot to mention the book too. Brian is the author of a book called $1 Billion B2B e-commerce.
That's right, Andy. So, well, thanks for that introduction. And folks, those of you who haven't joined us before, this is an unwebinar. This is not a webinar. This is a debate, and we need your participation. So you see there in your Q&A box, please submit questions during the debate today. We'll take as many of those questions as we can. We had some submitted in advance. We have 3 rounds. At the end of each round, we're going to have voting. You get to vote on who won that round. And so again, interactive debate here, guys. Let's have fun with this today. This is a really, really important topic. We're talking about platform versus partner. What is more important to e-commerce success? And, Andy, this is another hot one. I've lived this myself as a practitioner for many years, wherein, I selected the wrong e-commerce platform. In fact, once I had to re-platform twice in a year. It was highly disruptive, cost the business competitive advantage, and twice as much as it should have. And actually, frankly, it cost me my job. So their stakes are really high here, folks, if you don't take the right approach to a re-platforming process. And we're not the only ones that recognize this. Andy, who do you see joining today? It's a great group we have registered today.
Yeah, by the way, I can't wait to dig in and find out which platform you did or didn't
select.
I'm sorry, partner you didn't or didn't
Yeah. Well, all right. I got some stories around this.
1 year fun. So no, we've got some great folks joining right now. We got Dave Allen from Sega Electronics. We got Tara Vinkar from Alpha Controls, Mike Callahan from Don Foods, and quite a few folks from Home Depot, it looks like. So
yeah, it's a good group. Yeah, I'm seeing here, I'm looking at who's logging in. Lando Lakes is here. I guess the butter people, I don't know. Miller Knoll, Kendall Group, Zebra Technologies, 3M is here. I'm seeing multiple people here. Andy from Schneider, Kimberly Clark is here. Chris Beeson is here from Bunzl. We have a really great group. As usual, Andy, we posted the question to LinkedIn asking about this. Right? We asked, in B2B e-commerce replatforming, is the partner, e.g. the systems integrator or agency, or the platform more important to success? And again, we got thousands, I think almost 7,000 likes, shares, views, and votes on this. And we're going to reveal the answer to that poll at the end. So we're not going to bias anyone who's listening today. We're going to see who voted it on LinkedIn at the end. But I did get some comments, Andy. I pulled some comments out of LinkedIn that I think frame it up well. Here's a couple. Arno Ham, the chief product officer at Sana, he said, I would say platform because you need a vendor that has developed B2B e-commerce first platform based on B2B specific requirements. Girish, our friend Girish, the silencer Sahukar, VP of Digital at Don Foods, he doesn't agree. He said, if you pick a bad platform and a good partner, odds are that your partner will be able to overcome the platform issues. And then Belinda Cox, another one of our former contenders, she chimed in. She's SVP of e-commerce at Konica Minolta, and she says both are important. The selection has a long-reaching impact on execution ability and velocity. So I think, the jury's out a bit on this, and I'm curious what our audience thinks today. But Andy, I know you have some data on all this. You've thought through this. Why don't you pull up some slides and let's share what some of our data, what that says.
Yeah, most of the conversation is gonna inform this because this is sort of a theoretical debate. But to put it in some context, as you can see on the slide here, We're about to release some brand new Master B2B 2023 sell-side research. We're going to do so at our summit in May, which we're going to talk a little bit more about at the end. But just to tease you here, 53% of B2B sellers said they plan to change or upgrade their e-commerce platforms in the next 2 years. Now, historically, that's a little on the lower side. I've seen higher numbers than that in the past. That's mostly because it feels like 2023 is a year where people are going to try and get more out of what they already have. That said, this is still a pretty impressive number. So think about it this way. A lot of people who are going to be replatforming or upgrading their platform in the next 2 years, for whom this is a really relevant discussion. One of the questions I've often gotten for many years, and this is based on sort of my experience, and we talked about this beforehand, and you tend to agree with this.
I do.
B2B companies pay an average of 5 to 15x the license price of the e-commerce software to implement it. Now, that's a pretty heavy price. There's a lot of variability here. Let me say that first. Some are going to be on the higher end of that, who maybe don't have as well-developed a plan, or they're maybe in their digital, they're maybe less digitally mature. And there's some that really have a great strategy in place. Everything's ready to roll. They just need to swap out one platform for another. I rarely see that, but let's assume hypothetically people like that do exist in theory. They may be on the lower end of this, but the point here is you're going to spend a lot more money and time with a partner than you are on the platform. And I find that people don't realize it until they actually start implementing. They think it's more like, hey, we'll buy a platform, and then, hey, we'll get a partner, and then we'll twist some knobs and plug some things in, and it all kind of works out. You're building a digital business here. This is not just a technology solution. So that's the kind of the cost dimension. The other one, and perhaps more important dimension, is this the time.
Yeah.
Now, I'm being generous here. When I say 12 to 18 months to deliver a world-class B2B e-commerce experience, I've shortened this time frame in the last few years out of necessity, because you just don't have time to do 3 to 5 years to build a world-class e-commerce experience. You notice it doesn't say website. We're talking about an experience. This is a way of thinking. It's a new business. And for a lot of companies, that's something else they don't also understand. They think, hey, you know what, we're going to sell online. Let's just buy a platform, hook some stuff up, and then see what happens. Now, I'm all for, trial and error and such, but you can't just do this. In fact, I was sort of thinking through, so I'm going to show you a slide in a moment, not just quite yet, but I'm going to show you a slide that's an example of what this looks like. But let me just describe to you why it takes 12 to 18 months. Okay, so 3 months really to identify the right appropriate cross-channel customer. It's not just an online customer anymore. It's not just an offline customer. It's a cross-channel or omni-channel customer, which means you have to understand how one is influencing the other. Not an easy thing to do. People have spent years around attribution theory to figure this thing out. But today it's a requirement. You can't just guess these things. You also have to research, profile, segment, and personify various types of customers, so you make sure you're targeting the right kind of people. You also have to build up the business case. You have to figure out the ROI thesis, and this is all before you build a strategy and a roadmap. That takes at least 3 months. I'm working with clients right now where it's going to take even longer than that. I know you have as well, Brian.
I have.
So if you're really serious about identifying the business opportunity, you should do all of that before you do one related to your technology infrastructure. And the reason why is because your infrastructure is going to follow on what you decide your business and experience is going to be. You might have an infrastructure that's world-class for the wrong business. So you got to do that work first. So that's a 3-month process. Now, if you're really good, you might be able to do some of this stuff at the same time, sort of in parallel. I'm not sure I recommend that, but I'll allow for it for really sophisticated companies. But then, okay, so you finish the business part of this, then you figure out the technology part. I just jotted down some things that have to happen here. You have to do a technology assessment. You have to triage your capabilities. You have to do gap analysis to make sure that what you have in place can actually deliver what it said it can deliver. And then you have to select a platform. Again, this actually should take place after you figure out the business side of it. So that if you just did those two things in series and not parallel, that's 6 months right there. And we haven't even gotten to building, testing, iterating, having an alpha, beta, and MVP, And then, of course, the most difficult thing we haven't talked about at all is the process improvement that has to take place here, change management that has to take place. I mean, if you think about you're building a digital business, a modern digital business, there are going to be new roles, new customers, new lines of business, new competitors. These are all things that take time. So when I say 12 to 18 months, that's ambitious. It's not impossible. Well, like I said earlier, the reality is we don't have longer than that. You can't just spend 5 years building these things out.
Right.
So just as, a final thought here before we get into this really interesting debate, I want to show you one slide. This is compliments of one of our master BB experts, John Kinsella with Red Banks Consulting. The point of this is not to be an eye chart, but rather to show you this is what a prototypical 6-month project timeline consists of. And notice at the top it says pre-implementation.
Yeah.
This is technically before you actually even implement the software package you bought. And many of these things are things I just shared with you, but you can see elapsed time. And a lot of this is kind of priced for perfection too. I mean, we have decision points, things can go off the rails, people can leave, people can get fired, things can change in the industry. So, I mean, just be realistic when you think about this. And I would argue, and I'm going to plug from my side here, the team leading you through this whole thing is not the platform. They're a part of this, but the driving force here is really the partner, but not to bias anybody. So
Well, so thank you for that setup, Andy. That's really good stuff. And it's interesting, that I think, Andy, you just made an argument for platform first, but you're going to argue.
Not at all, but go ahead.
So one of the fun things about this debate, folks, is that Andy and I each take sides. I think, and from my experience, I think it's important first to select the platform. And I'll help my team out a little bit with some arguments, and they've got some amazing people. And Andy's taking the partner side, and I won't make my arguments just yet, but I have a few in my back pocket, Mr. Hoare. So we'll see how this goes. But we have people representing different sides, and we have some awesome people who have gone through this recently or going through this right now, replatforming. Let's go ahead and bring in our contenders, folks. We don't call these people panelists. These are contenders. They're going to duke it out today. And I have a great team, Andy. I'm going to start with the Maverick, Miss Teresa Kuski. Oh, I like that. Oh, that is cool. She comes prepared. She's got safety glasses, I think, is that a hard hat, Teresa Kuski? Excellent.
Yep.
And here she is, all the way from let's see here, page 290 in my book. Ergodine's in my book. This is my book, folks. Teresa, thank you for being a case study. She knows how to do things right. She spends every day thinking about selling work gear as the marketing director at Ergodine. She runs e-commerce there. She knows that if you do not have the right gear, you cannot do the job. She says, without the right platform, it doesn't matter, Andy Hoare, who implements it. Get the right gear for the job, and the rest will take care of itself. Ms.
Thanks,
Teresa,
guys.
welcome.
I'm excited to be here, and I'm protected and ready to pummel the competition.
Oh, yeah. Bring it on, Ms. Kuski. I love it. All right. Thank you for joining us today. Our next contender on my team is Tim. Virginia is for haters? Haters, lavender. Virginia's for haters, Tim? I guess so. Ooh, that's dramatic. That's dramatic. Do you see that? All right, Mr. Haters. He's the director of digital development at Beacon. That's a huge building products company. Mr. Lavender, Virginia's for Haters says, first of all, the color is spelled differently. Just to make sure everyone knows, right, Tim? Okay, so lavender, not lavender. Got it. Secondly, everyone at Beacon is a roofing expert, and we know that roofs have to rest on a strong platform. Well said. Wrong platform, and the roof won't help you. I'm sure this metaphor also works when you're building a website. He is certainly sure. Tim is a longtime veteran. You've done this a bunch of times. You just finished a replatform. Tim, welcome. And you're on mute.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to really make the point as to why we have to go with platform first.
All right. Andy, you want to introduce your team? Thank you, Tim. Go ahead and introduce your team, sir.
I do, yeah. So this is the team that's going to argue more effectively that it's about the partner, as I think this is already over with, but we'll go ahead and go through all the kabuki theater here so we can see how this ends up. But
Kabuki theater.
all right, so two great team members. I got Christy Glow Big or Glow Home Gloppin, who's the VP of Marketing and E-commerce at Waytech, which is a distributor of electronic components. You may not be shocked to hear that this purveyor of electrical supplies says that the right implementation partner will make or break your re-platforming project. In quotes, your integrator can be the electricity that powers the success of your project. There are so many platforms out there. A great partner can help you select exactly the right one for your unique needs. Couldn't agree more. Christy, welcome.
Thanks. Happy to be here. Can't wait to get into the conversation.
Excellent. So joining Christy on this team is Stacy the Hurricane Hanks. She's the Vice President of Global Digital Commerce at SureWorks, which is a manufacturer of safety equipment, and I think a direct competitor of Ergodyne. So Teresa and Stacy, we may have to separate the two of you. And I did notice that Stacy didn't need to bring a hard hat, so maybe she's not too worried. So here we go. So SureWorks' motto is be smart, be safe, be sure. Hank says that this motto also holds true for your e-commerce platform projects. In quotes, it's safe and smart to select your implementation partner first. That is something I'm sure about. Excellent. So Stacy, welcome.
Thanks, Andy. When the competition's tossing you softballs, you don't need to gear up. So excited to be here.
Oh, all right, Miss Hurricane. Well, all right, you guys, Tim and Teresa, you better be ready to fight here. We got a battle on. Okay, I think it's that time, Andy. All right, let's rumble. Waiting for that bell. Okay. Andy, you, sir, have 8 minutes to prove your point.
All right, round one. Okay, so we're going to go right to the heart of the matter. It's what choice comes first, platform or partner? So when choosing your e-commerce platform, should you pick your platform first or pick your partner first? Let's go to the platform team first. Let's go to you, Tim. You started to wax eloquently about this in your intro. So tell us a bit more about why you think the partner is less important than the platform.
In the B2B space, our requirements are so unique, and every company has different requirements that are very, very different. Some need to focus more on their order management. Some need to focus more on their product management, and some need to focus more on their quote management. And we need to ensure that we understand our business requirements internally and choose the platform that is going to move us the best, because each platform has developed unique functionality for their order management, for their product management. And we need to make sure that the platform is going to fit our business requirements. And we, the business owners, own that.
All right, fair point, fair point. Teresa, you want to add something to this?
Yeah, 100% platform. And I agree with Tim's comments. I mean, obviously, as a business, your internal users are going to know and understand your requirements best. I mean, you talked about like building that business case and then, evaluating the technology and then getting into the critical must-have requirements. I mean, you're pretty much doing most of the work yourself anyway. I mean, to bring in a partner to get them up to speed on all of those things takes a lot longer. So, I mean, you're better off, dwindling down your options based on your must-have critical business requirements. And also your partner, they might be pigeonholing you into solutions that they know best, and that might not be the best for your business and future growth of your business. So boom, mic drop.
All right, well said, Teresa. So Christy, let's come to you. The other team is throwing the gauntlet down. What say you?
I disagree with Teresa. Listen, implementing a platform takes a lot more than technology. I mean, platforms cannot design your user experience. They're made for the masses or they'd be out of business.
Wow, she's right to the point. Stacy, jump in here.
100% on the partner, right? So we live in a golden age of technology, and there are only so many ways to sell a widget. Our technology is going to be able to do whatever it is that we need it to do, but it's the platform, it's the partner that's going to ask the questions about how to adopt and how to adapt your process to that technology, right? The platforms don't ask questions. Platforms don't talk back. Your partner does. Your partner asks questions. Your partner seeks to understand what it is you want to do, and they're going to help you accomplish it with the right platform. So
Okay,
partner
let's-
every single time.
So let's stick with you on this. So let's address this issue, and we'll give
Yeah.
ourselves a chance to say this first, and we'll let the other team address it too.
Mhm.
One criticism you often hear is that the partners are biased. Aren't they going to sell you or work with a partner they already have a practice for? What's been your experience here, and what do you think? Why do you think that argument falls short?
Yeah, look, maybe they are biased. I hope they are biased, right? Because we're not just talking about picking a partner, we're talking about picking a good partner, and that good partner being the first thing we pick. So I'm going to assume that when I pick the right partner, they're going to have the experience and the framework to evaluate my needs. Look, in the workplace, we are all biased towards technologies and platforms where we had a really good experience, right? And that good experience meant we were successful. Maybe we even delivered on time. I bet we did if we had the right partner, and it made us look good. So I expect my partner to know what platforms are going to deliver for me and help me look good.
All right, you flipped the argument on its ear. You said it's a positive, not a negative. Christy, what would you say about this?
You know, I agree with Stacy. You know, partners, you're choosing a good partner, and a good partner has a lot of tools in their toolbox. They do this every single day. You know, platform's gonna tell you that they meet all their requirements, but I've never run into one single instance where a platform doesn't need to be customized somehow, some way. You know, the platform's going to try to sell you on all this out of the box functionality. It's never enough. And the only one that can do the customizations is the partner.
Interesting. So Teresa, let's go to you. The only one who can do the customizations is the partner, and the customizations are a necessary part of the process. So how's the platform going to accomplish this without the partner?
Well, the platform, is one thing, the partner. So like having gone through multiple replatforms in 10 plus years, I've had also partners say that they know the platform, but then when it came down to actually doing the work, they lacked the knowledge and expertise to deliver the results, which ended up costing us way more time and more money. And that in itself, like you can have all these partners and they say they know these things, and then when it comes down to doing it, they just flop, and it's terrible. And from the other standpoint, it's much easier to then just find a new partner. So I think, partners are trying to win your business, and they will bend over backwards to say that, achieve what you're trying to do, but it might not be in their wheelhouse. And sometimes they can make magic happen, but most of the time it ends up just really showing through when you're about ready to launch.
Sounds like a bad
Platform first.
So Tim, what do you say about this? Are the partners biased, and is that a liability?
Well, I think everybody just agreed they were. Even your team, they are biased. So yes, we have biases. And the question is that a problem for us? And the answer to that is yes, because they're the ones who are doing the dev work. And hey, if they can squeeze more money out of the dev work and get more money in their pockets as a partner, then that is good for them. And so if they choose a platform that makes that better for them and puts them into that pigeonhole so they have that position, that's better for them. Listen, that's not what I want. I want a platform that's going to get us there within 12 to 18 months, that is going to be solid when we're done, and that my internal team can take over and manage from there.
Look, Andy, you called it bias, but it's not a bias. It's do you want a partner who is expertise and has knowledge, and can they help you look good? I'll take that every day with my partner.
Interesting. Well, we'll give Tim or Teresa an opportunity to respond to that, because that's the counter argument, right? Yes, we all agree they're biased, but we say bias is good, you say bias is bad, we say bias is expertise, and you say it isn't. But Tim, do you want to just weigh in on that one?
Sure. Yes. I listen, if you have a bias and you're pointing people in a direction, you're going to go in that direction. And just because it's a good direction in the past does not mean it's a good direction for you. It's based off of your business requirements, and they may have to bend over backwards to reach those business requirements to get it done. And that costs more money, and time is not things we need to be wasting in these situations.
And ultimately, it's the business. The business is there. We're the stakeholders, and we are making the final decision. So we can listen to what our partners say, but ultimately, we've got to choose a direction and go with it. So I think that in itself just, is the option.
Wow. Off to a good start here, Brian. Right on time.
We sure are. Yep. We got to go. We're up on time, folks. We got to go to the poll. So thank you all. Good debate and really good points. Andy, there is no question in my book that partners are biased, and it's not a good thing for practitioners. Now, listen, partners, my experience.
Let's read the poll question first, though.
Fine. Read the poll question. I just want to get my argument.
Should you pick your platform first or your partner first? I think it's pretty self-explanatory. I'm also trying to eat into time so Brian can't respond here. Oh, go ahead, Brian.
Let me talk. So no, but listen, seriously, let's think about this, right? I worked for a partner. I worked for a partner for 3 years. If a company came to us and wanted a platform, guess what? We were putting them into one of the platforms that we developed on. It did not matter if it was the best thing for the client. Okay. So I'm talking from experience, right? And I think
consulting confidential here, right? You should write
partners, and guess what? Partners are disposable. Okay. And I say that. And sorry, companies out there that do SI work, you guys are valuable, okay? But from a practitioner standpoint, when we launched our website on Harbor Freight Tools, I'll give you some very specific examples here. Magento, all right, Adobe Commerce, this is years ago. We used 4 partners in 2 years. If I had to replace a partner, I could do it in a month. If I had to replace the platform, I had to do it. It's going to take me 18 months. You choose, Andy Hoare. I'll put my e-commerce platform up against yours anytime. Let's go.
I just keep hearing people making bad choices on partners. I mean, I'm sorry, maybe I'm just missing.
Yeah, but you can change the choice. That's the whole point. You're making the argument for me. Do we even need to
if you
continue this
think
debate?
Partners are expendable, you treat them as expendable, and as a result, they don't deliver.
All right. No. They're a business. Listen, they're a business partner. Okay, right? Fine. Yes, they are.
Let me just read, if I could, just let me read 2 things here from the LinkedIn, which was a fabulous conversation.
Oh, okay. Go to your bias source. Go ahead.
So Ken Novak said, my vote is for the partner because a good one will guide you in what you really need. I think that's indisputable.
Okay.
And then Dean Bursick from Wesco, director of Omnichannel, said, definitely the partner. Tech can be built around or solutioned.
Okay, so you want to outsource your strategy? Teresa Kusky got it right. You don't outsource your strategy. Fine. You want to outsource your strategy? Fine, go ahead.
Well, I don't know if outsourcing the strategy, but you want to partner on the strategy. The platform is not going to develop your strategy for you. Yes.
Yeah, you got to do it internally. Listen, okay.
Yeah, but not exclusively internally, because don't put your partner. Look, there's some rubber meets the road here, and it's always helpful to have somebody you can soundboard things with. I think I'd rather have a partner I could soundboard strategy with than a platform.
Okay, fine. Have your partner. All right, we got to get to the next round. This is fun. All right, it's time for round 2. Ring the bell, Robert. Well timed. All right, let's get to the next one here. Okay, our round 2 is risk. It's all about risk and risk of choosing the wrong platform or the wrong option first, excuse me. So our first question, is there more risk to choosing the wrong platform or the wrong implementation partner? We're going to go to team platform first. And Miss Kusky the Maverick, you're going to take this question first. What say you?
If I had to go to our leadership team and tell them that there was a problem, I would hands down 100 times over tell them we need to find a new partner versus rip and replace a platform. There's so many other costs and considerations to choose another platform aside from just the time that you took to do the development to that point and the implementation costs. There's like decrease in traffic, sales, customer experience, et cetera, et cetera. It's just a no-brainer.
Amen, sister. Okay, Tim, what say you, sir?
Yeah, the way I look at this is really simple. You know, I kind of look at your platform as your marriage. It's a long-term commitment. It's something you're going to have for a long time. But your partners are a little bit more like your high school boyfriends and girlfriends. You can have a couple of them at the same time, maybe, and just kind of throw them away when they're not good. And the truth is that ripping apart that marriage is a whole lot harder to do and requires legal things. And it's a challenge. So the platform by far is the most important. And listen, I just want to say this. I have great partner friends out there, great guys that are out there, and I don't belittle their business because they're really, really good. But the chances of finding a really, really good one, just like a high school boyfriend and girlfriend, it's pretty low comparatively.
I love that analogy.
One that you're going to marry, especially.
There you go. That's because it is, right? You want to be with a platform for 10 years. Anyway, okay. My bias is creeping through here just a bit. Let's go to team partner here. And let's go to Christy first. What say you, Christy, in response? Oh, you're on mute. That wasn't my doing, I promise.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
First off, I don't think that the platform platform team is looking at their partner as a partner. They're looking at their partner as a vendor. Partners are not replaceable, and you really need to do that due diligence up front and find the right partner. The platform guys, they're not going to know how to integrate with legacy ERPs. They're going to be the most recent platforms. Only your partners are going to be able to dig in because they've done it before. And so, if you do your due diligence and you do pick the right partner, not the right vendor, it's really going to help you avoid all those costly overruns and scope changes.
All right. Well, that's that's actually a good point, Christy. Let's go over to Stacy. Stacy, you got something to add to that?
Oh man, Christy nailed it. I definitely had ERPs written down. So I'm going through this process right now. First thing, selecting a partner, because guess what? You can tell a partner who knows what you're doing and understands your business. They ask all the questions, right? Do you know how much time it takes and how much resource it takes within your organization to talk about the ERP integration, to talk about your inventory, to walk through your business processes? Tim, you said it perfectly. B2B businesses are complicated. We got quoting, we got OMS, we got WMS. We've got a lot of things that someone needs to know. Platforms, I'll go back to my earlier comment, like they don't ask questions. Platforms are tech. Tech is tech. Tech sits there, and how you use the tech, how your partner like integrates with that, that's a much deeper relationship. And if you get that wrong, you've got so much more downtime, so much more wasted resources within your organization. Tech, like rip it and stick it. Like you can get a new one. Like it's not a big deal.
Oh,
But your partner is going to spend a lot of time trying to learn about your business to make sure that your APIs work. So more risk to choosing the wrong partner.
rip it and stick it. All right. I love that. Okay, let's go to our next question, because this never happens. When you hit the inevitable bumps in the platform implementation process, everything goes perfectly, right, guys? Yeah, no. Who should own the resolution? This is a tricky one. I've lived this. I know you all have too. Let's go first to team partner and stick with you, Stacy. What do you think?
Your partner is going to be the one who helps you. Your partner, it is in their best interest to make you look good, and they're going to figure out a way. They do this all day, every day, and they know how to get around road bumps. I don't know about you guys, but when I think about a platform and I have a problem with my platform, what do they tell me to do? Check out communities, file a ticket, tell you it's on the roadmap. Cool. Thanks, platform. That didn't really help me.
Exactly.
And I can tell you, I have in another life lived where we had the wrong partner, and that cost us a year. And guess what? That partner didn't fix it. They're not with us. My platform is okay now, but guess what? They still haven't fulfilled the terms of their contract, because the platform, they got the 3-year terms. They don't really care anymore. The partner's going to stick around. The partner's going to make it work for you, because their business is referrals, and they need to keep growing their business as well. So they have every best interest to keep you happy.
All right, Stacy. Well, we got a comment here from Doug Topkin. Thank you, Doug. He says, LOL, so true, Stacy. All right, you got a supporter here. Okay. Well, yes, Stacy. Brody Buzz said it too. Wow, you got some fans going here, Stacy. Awesome. All right, let's go to Christy. What do you think? I'm glad you agree. Go ahead.
There's always going to be bumps in the road. I haven't done one single implementation where I haven't hit one, but you've got to also remember that partners are doing this all day, every day. They've done hundreds and sometimes thousands of these implementations. They have a tribal knowledge within their organization. If you run into a bump, most likely they've seen it before, because like I said, there's not one single implementation that goes perfect without a bump. And so it's really the partners that's going to dig in, and they can help you move faster because they have that tribal knowledge from previous jobs that they worked on.
All right, fair point. Let's go over to the platform side. Ms. Maverick, Teresa Kuski, I think you probably don't agree, but what are your thoughts?
Don't agree. At the end of the day, the platform also wants to collect a license check from you every year or whatever that happens. I mean, if you are paying for the platform, they do care. They want you to renew at that end of the 3-year term or whatever term it is. And so they're going to make sure that you are happy with whatever, your implementation ends up being. The other thing is that it's just, the partner also makes a lot of mistakes, and sometimes those mistakes are because of the partner. So, I mean, that's the other thing. It's like the platform's not going to actually come in and say, yeah, we're going to fix these mistakes when the partner is the one that actually did them. So most of the time I find that the core platform itself, I have not had to run any tickets through the core platform itself because of a mistake that it made or it has made. It's mostly been because of what we implemented or developed. So.
Okay. All right. Tim, what do you say?
Yeah, I completely agree, especially with the last statement there, that when I've had to get to tickets, it's because the partner messed up. And listen, I still get back to my, what I said earlier. When you're married to something for an extended amount of time, that marriage is where it needs, the heartbeat of the communication needs to be. I mean, I've been married to my wife for 23 years. And if we didn't communicate and if we didn't resolve our problems together, the marriage wouldn't have lasted. We would have been divorced after 1.5 years because the first year is always so rocky. And so you have to go to the platform to solve those problems and make sure you're working through it. And that's really where you're going to have I see it. That's where you're going to have a long life with your platform partner, and making that choice to go there instead of going to your high school boyfriends and girlfriends to talk about your problems that you have.
And I just to say one thing is, that, I've never done an implementation where I haven't had to open at least one ticket with a platform provider. It is pretty common that they will say something works and it doesn't quite work. And so it's your partner that's doing a customization to get around it until the platform's roadmap can catch up to the business.
All right. Well, good arguments. Yup, go ahead.
I heard Tim's picking a partner first and his wife, and then he's getting on the platform of marriage. Sounds like he just.
Oh man, your own analogy against you, Tim. Okay, Ms. Hanks. Well said. Tim, we'll have to get you on the next round because we got to go. We're up on time for this round, but let's go ahead and go to the poll. Man, Stacey, you have all kinds of fans here. Yes, Julian, thank you.
It helps when you're right, Brian. It really does.
Be quiet. Here's the question. Okay, is there more risk to choosing the wrong platform or the wrong implementation partner? Folks, before you vote, listen to my case here, okay? Wait. How many platforms, how many partners does a platform have versus the other way around? You can go to many, many options. If you have a platform first, you have options. There's less risk. There's more flexibility. Andy, what'd you think?
Well, we're going to have that conversation in the next round. But Brian, I have to ask you at the top of the program here a question.
Yeah.
How many Thigh Masters and Shake Weights and Bowflex machines do you have in your basement? I'm just curious.
I have 0. I don't have a basement. I live in California.
I just assumed you had a bunch of them because you will go buy the equipment first and then figure out how you're going to use it, right?
Oh, no.
Platform first.
No. You got it all backwards. And I don't have a basement. Your assumptions are all screwed up, man. You're applying your Chicago assumptions to my Los Angeles home. Okay.
No, I mean,
Therein lies your problem.
I think we're just trying to figure out who's the one you marry, who's the one you date. And, we just have an honest disagreement here. I just feel like at the end of the day, the platform is something, especially increasingly with composability, et cetera. It's easier to kind of swap out the platform than I think it is to swap out a good partner.
You really believe that, Andy?
Like if you choose a bad partner or a bad platform, it's a problem either way. But if I had to choose between a good platform and a good partner, I'd choose a good partner. You read that at the very beginning from Girish. That's exactly what he said.
I know that's
Good
what he
partner,
said.
Bad platform, partner fixes it.
Okay.
I will give you, good platform, bad partner, the platform doesn't work.
I will give you the fact that in certain scenarios, for example, if you're composable, right, and you have a lot of flexibility built into the architecture, maybe there's some merit to that. But listen, Andy, you ought to live with a platform and architecture for 10 years. I mean, to me, it's so clear. I would not pick the partner first. If it was me running the e-com business, I wouldn't do it. I'd pick a unique I'd pick a John Kinsella partner to help me select the platform, get the platform, then select the partner. That's just my take. We got to go to the next round. Sorry. Let's go. All right. It's time for round 3. Ring the bell. Ring the bell. Andy, this one's yours. I'm keeping time, sir.
I'm going to quote Brody Buss. I'm sorry. He just made a great statement. You just see it? He said,
What do you say?
good car, bad driver, yikes. Maybe that was the best, most cogent statement made so far. Okay. All right. So let's go to round 3. This is about the ecosystem. Now, we wanted to dig a little deeper into this partner platform kind of dynamic thing. So this is a very specific question. Should you choose a partner that's especially committed to a particular platform that, say, has a thriving practice for, really wants to, works really deeply with that particular platform, or work with a partner that works with all sorts of platforms and has lots of practice around platforms and perhaps not the best or deepest experience with any particular one. So it's the classic case, one-to-many issue here. Let's go to the partner team first. Let's go to you first, Stacy. So do you want a partner that has lots of platforms they work with, but maybe doesn't know them particularly well, or works with fewer platforms and really knows them well?
Yeah, in this case, I think you want a partner that's got that specialization, right? You don't just want a name on a list. You want someone who has a deep working knowledge of the platforms, right? So they can ensure that they're aligning the platform technology with your specific needs. So, and with that, I'm looking for a partner who's got a couple specialties and has that deep knowledge, because again, partners everything.
Christy?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, most service providers will be by discipline. They'll have Java writers.net, they'll have PHP. However, they won't be an expert in all platforms written in those languages. And so you really need to look for one that has that capability. You know, platforms rate these vendors. They rate them based on, if you're a platinum provider, you need to pass tests. You need to be at to take enough hours of training a year. And so if you pick the right partner, they're going to have this specialized classification for different platforms.
Tim, let's go over to the platform team here. I guess your argument's going to be the partner doesn't matter anyway, right? So who cares?
Yeah, so I would say if you have a great driver and you're driving in a Scion toaster, and you're not going to get there very fast and very efficiently. So I think the car is pretty important to make sure you have the right one, and having a platform that, having a partner that is biased and only has, one piece of the puzzle and isn't really there, that's going to be a problem. So we've got to make sure that we have a full set of business requirements, that the business owns those business requirements. We know how we need to get there, and we choose a platform based off of the needs of that business. And like Brian said earlier, if we need to have a partner at the beginning to help us gather those business requirements, maybe because we're a little bit weak on the side of having the technology on our team and having the people who own that, hey, let's throw another partner in there. I'm good with that. A couple more boyfriends and girlfriends from high school. I'm fine with that process.
So you're the king of the analogies, Tim. I thought for sure when you started talking about the car analogy, I thought for sure you were going to go into autopilot and say, hey, look, my car can drive itself. I don't need somebody to drive the car, and therefore the car is better than the partner. I thought that's where you're going, but maybe
that could be a good one. We could go that way.
I think Tim made the point for Stacy and I. He said you pick the partner first, and the reason why you pick the partner first is because businesses don't know how to do business requirements well.
I want to flat. I just want to say, like, man, oh man, I wouldn't have a job if I didn't know how to do business requirements right.
Totally agree.
And if you don't know how to do your business requirements, then you have no need to be in a leadership role inside of an e-commerce or digital business leadership role. Get that. That has to be foundational in your position.
Well,
Amen.
This is
absolutely. Yeah, go ahead.
Going off a little bit, it's an interesting debate. I think you can make arguments on both sides. Brian, I think we could look at a future debate around this. The only reason I'd say that one is kind of up for debate because you also don't want people doing business requirements internally based on internal priorities as opposed to external priorities that oftentimes partners can bring to the table. It's not always the case, but there's value, like I said earlier, in having somebody you can bounce something off of. But I wanted to get Teresa in here about the partner promiscuity question. So what's your thought on that?
I come from, and previously coming from the Adobe Commerce or Magento Commerce, and I truly do think there is a lot of value in having partners that can work with multiple platforms and multiple solutions or modules and have that experience across to then, you know, utilize that in their own business requirements gathering. Because when you have one technology or one solution that you're working with, it really kind of funnels your vision. There's only so many things that you can do. I mean, if we're moving away from this monolithic technology structure and stack to a more composable stack, I mean, you want people that have expertise in a wide depth and breadth of different technologies and solutions. So 100%. The platform and the platforms that have a large network of, you know, developers and SIs and everything, you know, is just going to be the way to go.
So let's actually continue with that theme. So that's another area I wanted to address. I want to flip the question around and ask you the same thing in reverse about the platform. Do you want to work with a platform that has a big SI footprint that maybe not all those SIs really know the platform that well? Or do you want to work with, you know, a platform that's maybe a little more boutique-ish, but has really committed partners to it? What's your thought on that?
It's a really good question. I personally think that having more SIs to choose from, like, as I mentioned earlier, I think it's easier to hire and fire an SI versus replacing the platform. So, I mean, having a smaller ecosystem may make you less agile, limit your flexibility and your potential for future growth. That's my opinion.
Tim, you want to get on this one? I guess you're going to say what you've always said, which is they're high school boyfriends and girlfriends, right? Who cares?
No, listen, I don't want to belittle my partner friends because I have a lot of partner friends. But the truth is that if you're new and you're entering into a relationship, and you need to make sure that you have a whole lot of partners to choose from, because as soon as one of them goes awry, you need to make sure you have more to choose from. So there has to be more partners. I'm all for having more partners in the platform so that when something goes awry, you have somebody.
Well, Christy and Stacy, let's get you in on this one. They're arguing, hey, they're all interchangeable. They're just numbers in a line. Who cares? I think you're going to say something maybe a little different here.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to have a platform that rates their service providers, right? And because that's telling you that they're engaged with them enough to know, are they a silver, gold, platinum? Have they put in the time? Have they put in the hours? Have they passed the tests? So, you know, I would say it does, to me, they have to have some breadth, some width to have enough SIs to work with them so you have flexibility. But I'm really interested in, are they ranking them for me?
Yeah, I think we've all seen examples in the past, without naming names, of platforms that have done, let's call it partner packing, where they're just listing people and it's like, hey, we've got thousands of partners. And it's like, how come they don't think they're a partner of yours? But that's a separate discussion. Stacy, why don't you wrap things up here and we'll get to the decision.
Platinum or platforms look like they want to have a full dance card, right? They're saying that they work with everyone, and that's not what you want. You want a partner that ultimately knows very deep within a platform, and they should know a couple, right? You don't want them to necessarily know everything, but they've got to know enough to, again, be a great partner who says, hey, what are your needs? What are your business objectives? Let's get the platform that matches that. You know, that being said, it just comes back to the partner and having that specialized knowledge.
All right. Well, on that note, Brian, I think that's it for round 3.
Yeah, we're up for round 3. Let's bring up the poll question. Is it better to use a partner who knows many platforms well enough, or one platform especially well? Folks, place your votes. You know, Andy, that was a really interesting round because I think this gets to really the heart of a lot of it, which is, you know, listen, and let me clarify some things that I think our team, Teresa and Tim, were saying. when they talked about a partner, they're talking about a partner that would help them through selection, not necessarily the partner that would do the implementation, right? And those are different functions. And I think it's important to make that distinction because, again, giving my own experience, both as a practitioner and as an agency person, we're going to, if you're relying on the SI or the developer, and again, there's some great folks out there and I'm not knocking them, but you will likely end up on one of the platforms that they develop on, which may not be the best fit. And you have to live with this platform. You do not want to do what I did. You want to live with the platform for 10 years. Guess what? We followed the process the right way at Harbor Freight Tools. They are still on that platform 11 years later. Okay. 11 years later, same platform. So, I mean, that's one piece of evidence, anecdotal, but what did you think, Andy?
I think you just went through a slow motion platform partner selection process. You just did it by replatforming and then eventually arriving at the right answer. Again, I stick to the same point here. All things being equal, maybe they aren't all the time, but in my opinion, all things being equal, this partner matters so much because the partner is the one who's going to help you develop the experience. I think what's happened here is a lot of people have abused and misused partners in the past. I mean, years ago, it was always platform first. And that had a lot to do with where the money was coming from. The platforms had more money.
Sure.
They were the ones, therefore, who were throwing the big conferences. And then they were the ones who were able to do proactive outreach. And as a result, they were leading the sales process. And then they would bring in a partner after the fact. I think things have changed pretty dramatically now. Not to say that dynamic doesn't still exist, but what's changed now is the cost of the platform has come way down and it's more performance based.
Okay.
And the partners have gotten a lot more involved in not just customizing platforms, but actually developing experiences and businesses. I think the value of the platform is diminished a little bit in the grand scheme of things. I think the value of the partner is increased.
Well,
because
okay, but you don't integrate, Andy, you don't integrate the platform to your ERP, your OMS, your PIM, your WMS. And it doesn't take 18 to 24 months to get a new partner in place, and you don't spend millions. Well, you do, you can on partner. Point is that once you've got a platform in place, it's embedded, man. It's part of and you need the flexibility these days.
I think where we disagree is I think I keep hearing people make mistakes and they get stuck with sunk costs, and all of a sudden they regret it and say, well, gosh, we made a big mistake. And now we have to compound that mistake by living with the mistake.
Yep.
You've said it several times. Don't make the mistake. Choose the right platform by choosing the right partner.
Platform first.
The right business.
Platform first. Thank you. From the Peanut Gallery.
Wait, what did Teresa say?
She said platform first. All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see what the votes say. And Brody doesn't agree with me, Brody Bus. That's okay. So no, I love how interactive our audience has been today, guys. It is time for the decision. Robert, roll the dramatic music. All right, that's awesome. Well, Andy, before we get to the votes, we're going to get to those in just a minute. We'll reveal our LinkedIn poll as well. What were some of your takeaways from all this? This is a great debate. Go ahead.
Yeah, again, I'll just reiterate. I think it depends on who you date, who you marry. And I personally believe that you should be marrying the company, the partner that's going to be developing your business, your experience. And in this regard, I think the world has shifted. I think it's now the case that the platform has become more commoditized relative to the partners, because the partners are the ones who are going to help you develop a real business. You could have a great platform and a terrible business and you're going nowhere. You could have a great business and a terrible platform. You can just replace the platform. So to me, that's where I land on this one.
Okay, that's fine. I have 3 things I want to say. The first is you should not, Andy Hoare, outsource your strategy. Okay. And I think it was Tim or Teresa said it really well. Listen, this is why we all have jobs in the operating side. Well, I used to, right? Is that you're in there to lead the strategy of your business, which includes creating that digital experience, which means you're not outsourcing it. You need to have the chops internal to do that well. Some of the tech stuff, sure. Understanding some of the tech side of it, sure. Hire an expert on platform, technical requirements.
Yeah, but Brian, overall, one quick point in this: how many companies do you work for at a time? One. Companies as a partner work for at a time. Dozens and dozens. So ostensibly, they have access to a bunch of best practices versus no matter how talented you are, you're working at one company at one time with your head down on one project.
You know what's entirely missing from this conversation, Andy Hoare? The customer. Hello. I know my customer better than any partner ever will. Okay. So put the customer at the heart of your requirements. Don't give that to a partner. Do it yourself. Anyway. All right. That's one point. Okay. No debating that. Second is, guys, you gotta make sure you take time to do this. Andy showed at the beginning, 6 months, take your time and do this right. This is a long-term process, whether you get a partner involved or not, right? It's a process. You need to make sure you have requirements and your objectives and your customer involved. The third, SI selection, your partner is really important. Okay. I don't want to diminish this. I don't want you to get the wrong idea. I think the platform is the place to start, in my opinion, but you've got to look for depth of expertise in the platform, in market examples. You've got to look to the focus area of that partner, how much they've done in B2B, also their approach and culture. You are going to be working even more with the partner than you are with the platform. I'm not saying it's the place.
What was that, Brian?
I'm not saying it's more important. I'm saying you're going to be working more with them. So the culture is important. I think, though, that partners are much easier to replace than platforms are. Therefore, platform first every time, hands down. The audience probably won't agree with me, but we'll see what happens. Okay. Hopefully, we are now ready for our reveal. About 5 minutes left. I think we're going to bring up the slides now. Let's first share the LinkedIn poll, Robert, if we could. All right. So I got crushed in the LinkedIn poll. Yes, Andy, go ahead and gloat. We asked this question. 70% of you said partner first in the LinkedIn poll. And, so again, to that question, which is more important? So clearly the uninformed thought it was partner first, right? Until we had this debate. Now let's see who actually wins. What do you think, Andy? Let's go to one. Whoa, I won one round. Good job, Teresa and Tim. Woo! All right, should you pick your platform first, your partner first? 54% said platform. Woo! You are correct, people. Thank you. Number 2. I'm going to win.
No, read it, Brian.
What does it say? Oh, no, it's wrong. Oh, sorry, I didn't read the question. Shoot, you won. All right, the last one is the tiebreaker.
One each.
Who wins this one? Who is the winner here?
America wins.
America wins. It's a tie. Who's better? Is it better he's a partner who knows the platform as well, or not enough, or one platform especially well?
I think this one argues that the partner platform should be a tighter relationship, and they're not a commoditized, interchangeable, or as Tim would say, high school girlfriend or boyfriend that you date for a couple of weeks.
Right.
So
I agree with this.
I call this one a tie, Brian, which is a real accomplishment considering the LinkedIn poll had you crushed. So congratulations on a tie. It's like
on a tie. All right, we'll call this a tie. Okay, folks, let's go ahead and go to. We have a couple quick
announcements. Strong tie.
Yes, a strong tie. Thank you to our contenders for joining today. Let's go ahead and show some of our upcoming events, guys. We have some awesome stuff. First thing I want to make you aware of on our website, the forum. It is a private place for practitioners only, manufacturers, distributors, brand owners, etc. You can come in here. And you can share questions. You can network. We have almost 300 people in there so far. Andy's grown like crazy. We just recently launched it. So come on into the forum. You can go right to our website. Next, let's go ahead to the next. We got some amazing upcoming events on webinars, Mythbusters, and executive roundtables coming up. Here's our roundtables. We have the nuts and bolts of B2B marketplaces on April 18th. That's going to be an awesome one. Then we have, check out this Mythbusters on April 21st. Channel conflict between manufacturers and distributors is unsolvable. Is this true or not true? We're going to bust the
conflict. It's going to be great.
It's going to be a good one. Then we have best practices for selecting an e-commerce platform on April 25th. Sign up for those on our website. 2 more quick events. For those of you going to B2B online in Chicago, we have executive dinners for practitioners each night of the conference, April 30th, May 1st, May 2nd. Beautiful restaurants in downtown Chicago. It's going to be awesome networking. So go ahead and sign up. Let us know if you're interested in that. You need to message us. And then finally, we have our Mindshare Summit, Andy, coming on May 18th at the University of Chicago's Gleacher Center. It's a one-day event. It's not a conference. This is a summit. It's workshops. It's hands-on. It's you and a group of other people in a room. We only have 75 practitioners there. It's going to be amazing. The who's going to be there. So we hope you all can join us for that.
And it's going fast, by the way. If you're interested in that, better let us know quickly.
And here's the final thing I'll mention on May 2nd at 11:20, because we're doing it live at the B2B Online Conference. Will Amazon destroy traditional distribution? A huge question. Andy and I will be debating this with some awesome contenders like we had today. And we hope you join us for that. You can see it in person or online. And that concludes our session today, folks. Make sure you stay in touch with us. Go to our website, sign up, and we'll get you all this information. We look forward to seeing you on our next webinar. Andy, this was a great one. Thanks everyone for joining.